What's up? What's up, everybody? We are here. We are in the house tonight. It is Friday night from the forum, your Q&A show. And man, I've got a crew. What's up, fellas? How's it going?
Yo, yo.
Yo, yo.
Yo, yo.
Yo,
There
yo.
it is.
You know, it occurs to me on this Friday. This is the last show of the year, right? Like last 2024 show.
I mean,
2024, yeah.
From the forum, we'll still be live, but it is for most fantasy players, including Zach. I know you and I in a pretty significant league. It is the end of the season. Championships are here. And let me tell you, I shed a tear of joy this weekend when Travis Kelce decided to open up a can of whoop ass on somebody. If it was a week for it to happen, it was this week.
Totally
Pittsburgh forgot he was on the field.
I mean, I don't understand how this guy even gets open sometimes. We were talking about this at work. Look, Travis Kelce is great. Literally broke an all-time great record. He just looks so unathletic doing it. Okay. I mean, he looks slow. Like, I don't know how he fools these linebackers. I don't get it.
Look, he's good at finding space in the defense and finding the gaps. He does look a little frumpy, but I'm happy for a TD every now and then.
Let me get some unbiased analysis. Okay, Tyler, we know how you feel about that.
The gaps were 20 yards apart. I mean, I just don't understand what Pittsburgh's philosophy was, is all. Like, we're just going to let Travis Kelce beat us, and that's okay. I mean, at some point it had to stop, and it never did. From that standpoint, I don't get it. Like, take the dude away and make somebody else beat you. And they didn't do it. They let him catch it. They let him run for 20 yards. They left him open in the end zone. It's beyond me. But if you're a Kelce manager, like you said, Tyler, what a week for it. I mean, what a way to kick things off. Not fun if you're going against Kelce. I am going against Kelce in one matchup. The only saving grace is he also had Mixon, so the two of them together
Kind of balanced out a little bit, yeah.
I wasn't feeling good, though. I was not feeling good before the second game of the day. And now I'm feeling a little better.
This was such a setup. It's going to be like the Brett Favre and the sack guy, like, all over again. There's going to be, like, Tony Gonzalez is going to be talking to one of these DBs going, like, I want my record back. Okay, you just gave it to Tony Gonzalez.
Well, look, guys, we are happy to be here. Thank you for tuning in. We already got some people popping in the chat, so we're going to hit some questions up. This is your Q&A show, so hit the like button, hit the subscribe, and drop your questions in the chat. We are here for you, hopefully help you win a championship. And the first question starts off everybody's feeling this. I know I was feeling it in my Superflex league. Dad bod here coming in. Hurts is out for me. Hurts is out. A top quarterback, a dual threat is out, and he's wondering, should I get Pickett off waivers? I'm thinking no. What do you think?
Is he the only? I mean, you got to play a quarterback, right?
Yeah. What are your options there, Dad bod? You got to let us know what your options are there, because like none of us wants to play Pickett in the championship week.
I would play anybody. I play Rudolph over Pickett.
I tell you, I'm going through some of the waiver options in our league of record. Tyler and I, we're year 11 on this, and one of them just sticks out to me. Like, I know he's out there. So, like, Bryce Young at the back half of this year has had an absolute, like, total change from how he started, and he's playing the 31st passing defense this week. Like, that's a great streaming option if you've got to go use it. Like, go grab him up. You don't have to waiver claim him. He's, like, free to add right now.
Yeah. Cue the Jalen Coker fans.
Yeah, dude, let's go. And this is going to be
We just talked about this on a show right before this as well. I mean, Bryce Young is a good play. Rudolph is fine if it's over Pickett. I mean, I'm playing Michael Penix Jr. over Pickett. I mean, There's a lot of guys there. Oh, Rudolph. I see you, Chase. Rudolph, Mac Jones.
There we go.
Rudolph or Mac Jones.
Jacksonville,
both of them.
Yeah. Jacksonville's defense is as bad as the defense Bryce Young is playing. So if Bryce Young is not there, this is kind of the Bryce Young, 1B, right?
I have Mac Jones and Mason Rudolph ranked 27 and 28 back to back. So it's kind of a horse apiece there. Flip your coin and decide who you want to roll with. But yeah, I'm taking both of those guys over Pickett. I think right now I'm not excited about the idea of the guy that's been the backup and hasn't really seen any time. Like Jones has at least been in there for a while. And Jones has had a couple of usable games. Mason Rudolph, we know that in the past he's done some things. He's got some weapons there. There's weapons there to be had for Kenny Pickett, but he just hasn't played as much this year. And I don't have the confidence in him or like we said, I mean, man, Bryce Young would look really nice, but if your options are Rudolph or Jones, yeah, take one of them over Pickett.
Yeah. It's definitely, we're hitting that where we're having to make those choices. Dad saying, appreciate you guys. Hey man, thanks. And, Q, appreciate you being on the network, man. He's been there hanging out with us, dropping questions in. Love the community. Love having you on there. So appreciate that. If you're not a member, go to fantasysportsadvice.com and sign up for the social media network. We got Sean coming in, 2 wide receivers and a flex. All right. We got London, Wilson. So I'm saying that's Garrett Wilson, Malik Neighbors, and Dobbins. So the question is first, and we can start with you, Chase. Who's your top 2 wide receivers in this group that are must plays this week?
I've got Malik Neighbors at 15. I've got Drake London at 16. Wilson is 21. So it's Neighbors and London for me.
Seems to be pretty much in agreement. So then when it comes between Garrett Wilson or J.K. Dobbins, standard scoring, so no PPR bonus, who are you going with?
If Dobbins is truly healthy, I mean, I know they activated him, and if they're truly going to play him, I mean, I might have to think about that because, I mean, we all know that there's the Aaron Rodgers 500th touchdown, drama going on this week. There is no way on God's green and blue earth that he wants to throw that thing to anybody but Devontae Adams. He wants Devontae Adams to catch his 500th touchdown so bad he probably can taste it. And I'm just not sure. There's been drama with, is Wilson going to be back next year? Is he not? I'm not necessarily so sure how well everything's going there. If they're going to play Dobbins, if they're going to start him, I kind of think I have to think long and hard about putting Dobbins in there. I mean, it sucks that you have to make the call tomorrow, but he's playing New England, and New England is not good.
So Evan, you're a Chargers fan over there. I mean, how do you feel about that?
First off, I don't like that they put the Chargers at the 10 a.m. slot on a triple header, but we can't. Well, here we are, so But hey, winning in the playoffs in real football, so no excuses against a bad team. The Chargers should get it done. The problem, like Chase said, like what is J.K. Dobbins doing tomorrow? Like, are they going to put him right back in? And even then, like he was never getting 13, 15, like he was getting 9, 10 carries and making the most of it. So is he going to come on the scene and do the same thing? Vidal's had a chance to be acclimated. They obviously like him. He's explosive. He's going to get used. Harbaugh trusts Hassan Haskins. Like none of that's good for fantasy, but that's the reality of how this team functions. I'm just hesitant first week off the injury that they just give him, 10 plus carries. And does he get the goal line work? We've seen Haskins in there, right, at the goal line at times. So, like, it's hard for me to trust that when I know that Garrett Wilson's at least going to be on the field. I know, like you said, Chase, Devontae's probably going to get that. But, like, Garrett Wilson's on the field the whole time. He still should be getting targets. He's been mad multiple weeks in a row. I don't know if they care about that. But, he should get the rock. I just think I have to play Wilson with not knowing how Dobbins is going to be used in this game.
Hey, and Evan, like we talked about Kamani Vidal on our show on Wednesday night. I mean, I'm just not so sure what the heck they do think of him over there in Los Angeles. I mean, I brought up the idea that Harbaugh loves his Michigan guys. Haskins is a Michigan guy. Crimenes, he used Haskins as the passing down back and was throwing to him. And I think the fantasy community all thinks that Kamani Vidal should be a passing down type back. He should be a guy that's catching the ball because he is explosive. but they just seem like they don't really want to give him the ball ever in any. I mean, he doesn't get any carries hardly at all. He doesn't necessarily get on there on passing downs. I don't know if it's because he can't pass block or what, but do they really like Kimani Vidal, or is this going to be one of those guys like Sky Moore that the fantasy community keeps waiting and waiting and waiting to be a thing, but he never pans out?
I think they're just going to – it could be a mix of both. We'll wait and see. I think Harbaugh is just a traditional – he trusts Hassan Haskins. He's a pro, right? He trusts Dobbins. He trusts Edwards. I think it's more of that right now. So it's kind of wait and see, right, on the long-term part of Vidal. Because we see the few times he's caught the ball that, like, he can be shifty and nifty. You know, he's moved around a little bit, you know, but I agree with you. I mean, it's kind of a wait and see. I think they just want to trust the guys they have, especially with the fact that, like, they're trying to make the playoffs. This is now a game on the road. And let's not forget, last week, what happened? They give the ball to Justin Herbert. New England can't stop the pass.
Right.
They took over that game when they let Justin Herbert slang the rock. Justin Herbert is an elite quarterback, precision passing. Just let the dude slang the rock. So how much do they even run the football total in this game? So, but long term, yeah, I mean, wait and see on Vidal. I don't know. I think they just are kind of easing him in, right?
So this week, it sounds like it's a flip a coin between Wilson and Dobbins. If you feel confident that Dobbins is going to get a workload, like a true workload, or he's going to get those touches, roll with it. There's also the chance that he doesn't. So it is a risky play. Good ceiling, but risky play. And then you have Garrett Wilson, who we will see. Then the only reason that I would even consider Dobbins in that role is because it is standard scoring versus PPR. Yeah. And we know Garrett Wilson's depth of target is not significant.
You could come out with 4.5 points, or you could come out with 18, and you never know.
Yeah. So if we got a super chat in here, so I want to make sure we jump to that. As you guys know, we're here to answer all your questions, and we will make through all of them. I might have to concise down the answers a little bit, and maybe not everybody gets to speak to each one. But when you drop a super chat in, we want to make sure to say thank you. So we jump to your question immediately, and then we'll jump back up to the chat and keep going. So we got one from I'm not going to pretend like I can pronounce that name, but he said, I got a few for your boys, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to get Evan, Zach, Chase. He's got 3 questions in here. So it is 3 different, it sounds like a few different leagues, half-point PPR. First question to you, Evan, Bryce Young or Drake May?
Bryce Young.
All right, so Bryce Young, I agree. Bryce Young's been playing lights out. He's got a good matchup. Let's see, Zach, Brian Thomas Jr. or A.J. Brown?
So I like both of these guys, but I like Brian Thomas Jr. here. He's the 7th wide receiver, like overall. You're probably safe either way, but I like Brian Thomas there.
Brian Thomas Jr. has been consistent for a long bomb, like every game. Like he can put up nothing, and then all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, a 60-yard touchdown. And so with that kind of ceiling or that kind of possibility, I don't know how you put him down. And especially with no Hurts this week throwing to A.J. Brown, that puts a damper on that parade. Even though Pickett did seem to look his way often on Sunday, I still don't want Pickett over – it sounds crazy, but over Mac Jones. Like Mac Jones has been getting the ball to Brian Thomas Jr.
It could be some weather in that game in Philly too. I don't know what the update is, but it could be real wet and nasty too. So
yeah, Brian Thomas, 4 touchdowns in 3 weeks. Like, let's go.
And then Chase, Jaden Reed or Debo, you get the doozy.
Because Debo actually played last week and had himself a day. Finally, for the first time, literally in all season, pretty much. Here's my thing. Right now in my rankings, and I'm in the process of updating my rankings right now too. I have to pull Hurts out of my rankings and some other things. Right now in my rankings, if you check them out, I've got Debo Samuel ranked ahead of Jaden Reed, but I'm rethinking that, and I'm going to put Jaden Reed. He will be ahead of Debo Samuel when I release my newest rankings, because Jaden Reed had a great game against the Minnesota Vikings in week 4. 23.6, I think, half PPR points. It was like 7 of 8, 90 some yards he scored. He was all over the place for them. And I think this game is going to be another shootout. And the thing is that Green Bay has been a fantasy herd. We know that. but I like how Jaden Reed matches up against Minnesota. Debo, yeah, he's facing a banged up Detroit team where seemingly anybody who's been hurt, but Jaden Reed, I think, is due for another big game against the Minnesota Vikings. I like that game to be a big shootout to go the over. I think it's going to be haymakers left and right. And I trust Jaden Reed to be able to catch more of what's thrown to him in that offense than I do say if Watson were to play, or Dontavian Wicks. And Romeo Doubs just isn't quite as explosive as Jaden Reed. I'm going to go with Reed over Samueler.
Love it. We got Jerry popping in. What's up, y'all? Appreciate you tuning in, Jerry. Albert coming in. What's up, fellas? And we're going to go back up and continue with the questions. And we're going to Mr. Magic. Cooper Kupp or Garindo, Dobbins or Spears? Anybody want to volunteer for this one?
Garindo and Spears.
I feel like you got to lean Garindo, even though that San Francisco run game with Patrick Taylor has really struggled. But they want to get him involved, and he's been explosive. Whereas Kupp's been very hit or miss, and it seems like Puka Nakua's taken that top route. Zach, I know you follow the Titans pretty close, and you've got some Dobbins shares. Are you leaning Dobbins or Spears this week?
So Spears is absolutely heating. Like, he's on a heater right now. And they're playing I want to say bottom half, but it's really probably like a bottom 25% rushing defense this week. I love Spears. I like Dobbins, and we had him on the earlier question too. Dobbins, for me, like if you're considering him, you have a projection that's not so great for the week, and you're just looking for a higher ceiling guy that might get you over the hump. There are safer plays. So I like Tajay there. I'm not playing Cooper Kupp. For some reason, this dude's ice cold right now. So I like Garindo. I like Spears. I think that's fine. Dobbins would be 3. It's sad, but I'm putting Kupp 4 here.
All right. Philly D or Colts D? Chase, what do the rankings say?
Philly or Colts? I have the Colts ranked as my number 1 defense of the week. I have the Eagles at 3. I'm going Indy all the way here. I have no faith at all in New York and what they allegedly do on offense. So I'm going to lean Colts on that one.
Now, Tyrone Tracy Jr. is a go.
Okay.
I just wanted to see if it changed anything.
I had him in my home league. He didn't help me out a whole hell of a lot when Derrick Henry took a snooze on the first week of the playoffs either. No, Tyrone Tracy can be active all day long if he wants, but they're still not doing anything on offense that anybody's got to worry about. I still have Indy at first. So,
all right, Evan. So Nino Pena coming in. He says it's a big play bonus league, and I'm leaning Kyler. But the question is Kyler or Knicks versus Cincinnati?
Oh man. Big play. I think I'm going Bo Nix. Unless here, actually, let me back up. Check the weather, but last I saw, the weather has kind of shifted where this game should be okay. Like the weather should come in after where it really affects. Cincinnati's been terrible against the pass. I know that Kyler's been solid. Even though he hasn't played great, he's still putting up points. I just think Cincinnati's going to be able to score the football too. Like, you have to score. I do think Denver's going to try to run the football to kind of negate Burrow being on the field. Like, that's what I'm going to do if I'm the Broncos, right? I'm trying to keep Burrow off the field. But Knicks is going to have to throw. In Cincinnati, we've seen them be susceptible all year long to the big play. Knicks isn't afraid to throw it. He's got rushing upside too. Kyler hasn't really been running the football. And I don't like what I saw out of Kyler last week. I mean, McBride was open all day, and he missed him all day long. I mean, if you watch that film, he's open on every play. And I don't know if Kyler just can't see over the line, if he's thinking about Call of Duty. I don't know. I like Kyler. I've liked him all year. He has the upside too. For me, it's real close, though. I have Knicks right ahead of Kyler. I'm going Bo Nix.
I like the Knicks' big play potential. He's been airing it out, and he's not afraid to run it. And so if you do have a big play bonus, I think you can get it with a chunk downfield. You got something to say there, Chase?
Kyler Kyler's he rushed for 5 touchdowns this season, dude, and he still is Kyler. He still can make those plays. He has not been hitting the downfield plays. That's the problem, is that he used to just, F it, Nook's down there somewhere. Let's go. And Nook came through for him. And right now, if he tries to throw it downfield to Marvin Harrison's only catching a little, and I mean a little bit over 1 out of every 2 passes is thrown his way, short, long, or otherwise. God, it sounds weird to say, but yeah, I mean, I have Nick's ranked 1 spot ahead of Kyler in my rankings, but if you're going to go big play bonuses, Nick's is probably the better play.
Well,
and Marvin, sorry, go for it.
No, I was just gonna say I like the game that has playoff implications for both teams. That's Knicks and the Bengals, right? Like that's 2 teams that are going to be playing. All the Cardinals are going to be trying to do is spoil Rams. Now that's divisional, so sometimes that matters, but I like the one where like it's you got to win to get in, right? And so like that's for me. Bo Nix is there. Like I said, it's kind of like Dobbins. Nix has like a higher ceiling in this matchup, I think, than Kyler does.
Love it. We got a question from over on Twitch. Thanks to our Twitch fans tuning in. Should I start Bucky Irving or James Cook? And let me tell you, it's hard not to lean Bucky, but it's also hard not to lean James Cook. He has been electric in that offense. He is hot right now, and I don't know that you can put him down.
Who else do you have that your choices are between 2 top 12 plays this week, dude?
Just put him in.
Good work.
Congratulations. What a doozy.
There's a reason you're still playing this week, apparently. Holy cow. I've got Bucky at 9. I've got Cook at 11. So, I mean, yeah, you can't go wrong either way. Man.
So it sounds like Chase is at 9 and 11, says Bucky is slightly ahead of James Cook.
Both number 1 plays for me this week, though. So, like I said, I don't know who else you got, dude. Man.
So maybe you're throwing somebody. He said Josh Jacobs.
Dude,
so who's in your class? Like, can you go Jacobs, Bucky, and Cook? Congratulations. Woo. Hopefully, you're going to take a ship home this weekend.
Had a baby, Magnum. Had a baby.
Let's see. Keep rolling. Bills versus Colts. Sounds like Colts were number 1. I like the Bills this week against New England. I've played them pretty consistently. But the Colts, that matchup is really nice. So I'm happy with either of those. I think that you're good to go. Southern Dad's Gaming said it's championship week. Some of us made it. And then he said, here's my question. And this actually, and we won't stay on it too long, but this is a question. So in one of our leagues, there's a player that's in the toilet bowl, and he dropped his whole lineup. Is it fair to start claiming players, or should at least the people that are in the championship match, or the games that matter, like the championship match, for example, maintain integrity and stay with the lineups? Or should it just be a free-for-all to pick the best player?
Look, I am all for gamesmanship here. So, like in the league that Tyler and I are in, I am claiming every available running back that might play and dropping players off my bench that I don't need next week, right? Like I don't need a backup quarterback next week. So I'm here for gamesmanship. This is the kind of thing that spoils a championship weekend. This is a commissioner steps in. That You're not going to make everybody happy here. There's going to be somebody upset, but those players can't be available. To me, they can't be available because they wouldn't have been in any other right world, and that guy has to go. Like he's not available for next season either. Like
that guy or girl or whatever is done.
Yep.
It does throw a damper because as you build your rosters, right, and you fill in gaps, and then those gaps create your team. Like, maybe you're wide receiver weak, you're running back heavy, or maybe you've had injuries hit. And so you've been trying to make it happen with these teams. And then let's say the players that are dropped, there wasn't any good running backs, but there was good wide receivers. And so somebody's hole is able to be elevated while the other person's isn't with tier 1 players. That's going to change everything. Now obviously it's a commissioner decision, but traditionally I think I would lean on that same thing. For league integrity, I would put those players off the market. I would lock in lineups, and here we go.
Yeah, I'm not playing in a league that doesn't have a commissioner that steps in and does that. Like, that's just, like you said, if Jalen Hurts went down and I've got the fab to pick up Bryce Young, Mason Rudolph, and all those players to stop the guy from getting a quarterback, that's fine, because that's part of keeping your fab. That's part of the strategy all year. That's part of guys that nobody would pick up. but drop in a stud guy, and all of a sudden I get to pick up Bucky Irving and play him over, J.K. Dobbins or whatever. Like that's
Javonte Williams or something,
Yeah, like you can't have that. The other part, like Zach said, that's gamesmanship. Like that's the reason you maybe hold on to your fab, right? That's the reason why maybe you should have picked up a backup quarterback for Jalen Hurts, even though he was never hurt. Like that's why we play fantasy football. And that's part of the fun. And so if you got the fab to block everybody, hey, by all means. But this commission has to step in.
100%. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think we're all in consensus. And the guy needs to be booted. Also, so Nino Pena coming in. Also, I know everyone loves tight ends this year. It has probably been the biggest letdown position of the season. But pick one, Kincaid, Hunter Henry, or Ertz. I don't know how, and, I've got a Razorbacks helmet behind me. I don't know how you lean away from Hunter Henry with how he's used in that offense and the consistency there. So I'm going to go that way. He's really the only, it feels like, real weapon that Drake May has to throw to,
Well, man, Pop Douglas, come on, man. Come on. No, I think I'm fine with that too. This isn't an overthinking. This is like tight ends are kind of rough, but this far in the season, trust the rankings. Like Hunter Henry's at 10, Ertz is 13, Kincaid's off the map.
And none of them has a great matchup this week, so it's not like you're using that that's not a tiebreaker, deal breaker. It's go with the guy who's performed this year, and the guy whose quarterback will throw him the ball.
Yeah, 100%. We got Dennis Clemens coming in. Dennis, appreciate you being on fantasysportsadvice.com. Seen you pop in there a few times. Loving the interaction there. My opponent had Lamar, and I had Mixon, so I'm already behind. Nix or Young, McMillan or Coker. And then next week, we'll skip the next week. You gotta come tune in Friday, next week's show for next week. But this week we going Nix or Young.
Nix.
I'm still going Bo Nix. I mean,
yeah, I think so.
I agree. And then McMillan or Coker.
McMillan.
Yep.
I like McMillan too. I do like Coker as a deep grab. I think he has a good week this week. They've got a soft matchup. And I think if Young hits a receiver for a touchdown, it's going to be him. That's just personal thoughts. But I do like Coker this week, but I like McMillan more. Next week, it's probably going to be hard not to roll with Spears. But I'm also not going to bench Mixon. I think that, he's not going to have a garbage week every week. It happens, but he was involved, and he's always involved, and he gets his touches. When they get their touches,
the whole team.
We got Jason Ortiz. Start 2. McMillian, no K, no Shepard, Thielen, Leggett's back, or MH, Marvin Harrison Jr., Tracy, or JK, probably on limited snaps. You got to start 2. Who's your number one can't put down, Chase?
My highest ranked out of all of them would be Thielen.
Okay. Zach?
I think Thielen's a good play. For me, I like where McMillan is. I like the matchup with the 32nd ranked passing defense. You're probably okay with either of those, but for me, it's McMillan this week. They're playing each other.
They're playing too. So I'm fine with both of them. Yeah, your first two.
Yep.
Fire them off.
Yeah, I'm right there with it. I mean, I can make an argument for Tracy just because he might get the volume and touch the ball, but I'm scared as hell of that Giants offense. But I roll with the first two. Thielen's just too involved, and so is McMillan. And McMillan, I think McMillan should see even more work this week. Like the cover 3 is a great matchup for him and Evans. And if I'm Carolina, I'm taking away Mike Evans, which means Baker's going to Jalen a lot. So he should have a big game. So I'm good with McMillan and Thielen.
Love it. I mean, there you go. I mean, it's easy when it just kind of works out that way. The answers hit, and we got another super chat coming in. Appreciate that. He said, "Don't do that to me, Tyler." Appreciate we got a super chat. Adrian Michael, appreciate that. Thank you for the support. He said Sharp hurt him. Charbonnet hurt a lot of people this week. You're not on loan on an
The
island.
Seahawks hurt a lot of
Everybody
people.
was excited that he was going to get a full workload by himself, and boy, him and really even JSN let people down from the consistency that they were producing to what they produced this week. It's kind of that playoff turmoil, but half PPR, 2 wide receivers, 1 running back, 1 flex. So we'll go wide receivers first. You got Puka, Jennings, Neighbors, Thielen, McMillan. Pick 2. Go, Chase.
Puka, and it's a toss-up between Neighbors and Jennings.
Go, Zach.
Yeah, I like Puka and Neighbors, and then McMillan, Thielen, Jennings for me.
Evan?
I'm going Puka, and I'm going Jennings. I think they're going to have to score a lot, right above Neighbors. I'm okay with Neighbors, but Puka and Jennings.
So it sounds like Puka's consensus, and then it's somewhere between Thielen, Neighbors, and Jennings. Jennings, I think, has the touchdown upside. Thielen would be a bigger play in a PPR, and though Neighbors has significant upside, I don't love him in that offense with, Drew Lock trying to air the ball out. It just hasn't been good. It hasn't been consistent. You can't count on it. So probably in Puka Jennings or Puka Thielen. So take your tie. I think at the running back, I don't know how you play anybody but Jahmyr Gibbs in that position. It's a hands down go. And then in the flex, I typically am going to lean running back heavy. I probably want to get Chuba in this game. I don't know if anybody has a difference of opinion. Obviously, there was some wide receiver support, but I want 2 guys that are playing at a top 10 level, and Jahmyr Gibbs and Chuba Hubbard in this game. Anybody different?
Chuba's a top 10 play for me. Put him in the flex.
I gotta say, this guy's got a pretty good team, by the way.
Yeah.
Dude, you got options. You got legit options here.
Now, I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there, and this is for everybody watching, obviously. One of my sleepers of the week this week and at tight end is Chig Okonkwo. I am hype on the Chig train. Rudolph likes to target him, and he likes to target him as a wide receiver, not just tight end, not just low pocket passes. He likes to air the ball out to him. We saw it last week. I'm not starting any of those 3 over Chig. You're rolling Chig, you're rolling Chig, you're rolling Chig. And then defense, got a call. Chargers slightly over Raiders for me. I know the Vikings have been ranked high all year, but they're facing the Packers. It's going to be a shootout. I played Raiders in DFS because they were cheap, but I like the Chargers to get for sacks.
Yeah, the pressure of the Chargers should be good there. I will just say I love Chuba, and I think he's great. Tampa Bay was pretty much his worst game all season long.
Yeah.
Their run defense is solid. I know the volume's there. I just am a little leery. Neighbors gets fed the ball. It's really hard for me to sit a running back over a wide receiver.
That's why I'm putting Neighbors as my second wide receiver, but you didn't want to do that, so you don't get to play.
Yeah, that's true. You are doing that, but I know Jennings has let a lot of people down lately, but Detroit's banged up, and they're going to have to score. This is a get right week for Juwan Jennings. I am okay with Neighbors over Chuba, but with that being said, the volume of Chuba, he did it against Philadelphia. He gets the rock. And in a high-scoring game, he should see the red zone carry. So I'm going to agree with Chuba, but just based on volume alone. It's just hard to sit. You got Neighbors or Jennings on your bench, Thielen, McMillan.
It's like Zach said, it's a killer roster. What this is first world
I'm not sorry you have that problem.
Yeah. It's a reason to play this week. Yeah, again.
I feel like a great responsibility with this question because something is going to cause, you're going to have somebody on the bench with 20 points, and I'm sorry. Okay. You got a ton of options.
First world problems, dude. First world problems.
Right.
Ace24 dropping in. Thank you for tuning in. Hit that like, hit that sub. We appreciate you. PPR in the ship. Spears, Myers, Ford, assuming Pollard plays. I just don't know. I hate the matchup. But I don't know how you don't go Ford.
Yep.
Ford's good. So, yeah, I think I think I do Ford, Spears, Myers. And I know Myers is kind of a sneaky play, and they're playing New Orleans. And I don't know if you see the signs behind me. I'm pretty fond of them, but I still it's the Raiders suck. Okay, I go Ford, Spears, Myers here.
Yeah, same.
Love it. Love when it just comes together like that.
I don't think Deonta Foreman gets the ball at the goal line again, and Ford gets that touchdown he should have got. That was dumb.
I agree.
In his career, maybe.
Pick 2: Connor, Dobbins, McMillan, Reed.
Is Connor playing?
Connor is projected to play.
Tyler, you're
Quick question on that for you guys before we get into it. Connor's banged up. The Cardinals are out of it. If Connor's playing, he's listed to play. Do you assume that means why is he going to play if he doesn't get a full workload? What do you guys think about that?
No, if they're going to play him, you can't read anybody's mind. You have no idea what their mindset is for their coaching and everything else. If Connor is in, if he's listed as active and they say they're going to play him, he's got to be in there. He's been that kind of play this year. We have more questions about whether or not they're actually going to use Dobbins this week than we do about what if they will use Connor if he's active. If he's active, then it's got to be Connor.
Here's how I look at it. I think we're picking 2. I think McMillan goes in first because he's playing Saturday early, right? If I saw that right. So you have to worry about Connor here because he's playing. McMillan's playing on Sunday. So Connor's playing Saturday late. But if you put him in and you miss it and you didn't get to play somebody else because you put him in that spot, like you got to be ready for a little bit of gamesmanship there. They're your Sunday guys. So I'm putting McMillan for sure. And then I hate injury designations. Connor or Dobbins, you're going to play Connor first, then Dobbins after that for me.
I love it. I think that's consensus there. Let's see here. Keep rolling. We got Perico. Yeah, Hunter Henry or Ferguson since Lamb is out. I still lean Hunter Henry for me. I think Fergie's involved, but I like the touchdown potential. Back to the Super Chat. Vikings got me here, but their matchup is scary. And there were 2 weeks ago, or it was like 2 weeks ago, I made a call. I had somebody on Twitter that messaged me said, should I roll with the Vikings or should I roll with Atlanta? And Atlanta had that cake matchup against the Desmond Ridder ran offense. And I told them, I was like, you're going to go with Atlanta. And they were like, no way. They were like they came back at me after asking the question. They were like, the Vikings I need 13 points to win. The Vikings have had over 13 points 4 times this year. Atlanta's only had it twice. And I'm like, Ridder can't throw the football. Like you're gonna go Ridder in that, and you're gonna absolutely slay. And so they didn't. They played with the Vikings. They formally apologized to me on Twitter because the Vikings ended with 7 points. Meanwhile, Atlanta had 20 plus. It's same thing with like playing a defense against DTR, right? Like DTR is not a good quarterback. I'm going to line up. I love Miami this week. If you need to stream a defense, I love Miami, And so like you can't, like they have been good, but like some of those matchups, like the Raiders, I like that matchup. There's several good matchups there that you gotta look. I have hopes. I have high hopes for Spencer Rattler. I want him to be the next Mahomes-esque style player.
He's a good dude. I'm sure his mama loves him, but oh man,
I know.
They can't have a worse week. I mean, they will have a better week this week than they had last week, but that's almost impossible not to.
Yeah. Foundationally, it has to be better.
So, Dad Bod coming in with the super chat. Appreciate you, bro.
No way.
Don't do it, Dad Bod. Don't do it.
Lock's an option. Hurts Rudolph. You're going Rudolph. You don't want Lock. You don't want Lock. You don't want.
Drew Lock has been on 3 teams, and none of them wanted him to play quarterback for him. Why do you want to play? Yeah, no, don't do it, Dad Bod.
Lock might do enough for Neighbors to make Neighbors a good play, but that's it. Not a good play for Lock. He just might feed Neighbors, and that's it. On volume alone, 15 targets, 10 for whatever.
Oh, man, I love this. We got a kicker question.
Kickers are fantasy players, too.
Aubrey or Richard this week. So let's go kicker first. Aubrey or I think it's pronounced Richard for the Vikings. Who you going with?
I'm gonna take it. It's easy. Aubrey. All right, we're good.
Okay.
Really?
And then Ladd or Tyreek in PPR.
My bad, Chase. I didn't mean to cut you off there. Sorry.
No, you did. I cut everybody. I cut Tyler off because I was like, geez, you're going with Aubrey? They're not going to have their top. They're not going to have their quarterback, and they're not going to have their top receiving option. I don't know. They get in position for Aubrey to even score. I know he can kick from 98 yards away, but they still got to get to the 2.
We're looking for 50 yards.
It's also outside in a game that could be pretty muggy. That scares me a little bit. Where Minnesota Green Bay is indoors. I love Aubrey almost every week, but I feel like the high-scoring affair we're talking about and inside, I'm going to just lean probably Richard there. I mean, I get it. Like you said, we know how good Aubrey is, but
that's why he's a nerd, folks.
21 points last week.
That was indoors.
He's got it, man. He's got the
with CeeDee Lamb having a dominant game till he left the game. I don't know if they do that this week. I mean, I guess he could kick 5 field goals in an ugly game if they can get close enough in the mud.
He had three 50-yarders last week.
But
that's what they're looking for again.
You think at Philadelphia there's no concern?
Yeah, they got to get close enough to kick the 50-yarder. That's the thing. You got to still cross
the stuff, man. It's a divisional rivalry.
Look, I love this. I love the banter. So it sounds like it's a 2-1. Zach, you stay on your island. You go with your guy. Evan and Chase are going Richard. Now, Ladd or Tyreek PPR. Other receivers are Evans and Scary Terry. Love that. I'm going Ladd.
That's not a question. Go with the Ladd.
Yep.
Go with the Ladd.
Yeah, you've got Evans, Terry, and Barkley, which means you've got some big plays there. You don't need to hope that Tyreek gets one and runs with it. Ladd is 6 for 70 guaranteed as a floor, it seems like, in this matchup. So it's Ladd.
Love it. We got Daniel Vilner over on Twitch. Hey, thanks. Like the channel. Appreciate you tuning in over there on Twitch. Adam Thielen or Jacoby Myers. I want more than a Thielen. I want some more Thielen.
I think our conversations have answered this one. It's Thielen for everybody, I believe.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Myers has like a really brutal matchup. We're going Thielen.
Myers doesn't know if he's going to be catching passes from Porn Stash or who. So
Josh said
Tampa Bay Carolina could be a sneaky one of the highest totals of the week. Right, I mean, for sure.
So Josh said
they've got the highest over-under on the slate on
there
Sunday.
You go.
Yeah, you do.
Love it. Josh said, I can't wait for my Giants. Don't get thoroughly trash talked. Our time is coming. We hope so. We hope
the league is better when the Giants are good. They're one of the original teams.
We're speaking how we have to, but we're on board with you.
McMillan or JMO with St. Brown in the lineup. Now this is tight for me. I want to hear what you think. What do you think, Zach?
So I don't know. I struggle to pick skill positions on the same offense. I feel like you're vulturing from yourself potentially. Some people might think you're spreading your opportunity. I like Jalen McMillan instead of having 2 receivers in the same offense.
Think of it from a gamesmanship standpoint. If you have JMO and St. Brown in your lineup, they both can't catch the same pass.
It hurts
to go in the end zone. If one of those guys goes off, it's almost automatically, not always, but almost automatically at the expense of the other, or at the very least, the other guy's not getting that production that your other guy's getting. Whereas if you play the 2 guys, either JMO or St. Brown and McMillan, now you've got the opportunity there to catch a big game from 2 different games. So if it's between McMillan and JMO, I actually have Williams ranked higher this week by about 3 slots so far, but I would put McMillan in my lineup with St. Brown also as a starter.
Love it. Love it. Love the feedback. So as you guys know, this show is sponsored by Fantasy Sports Advice Network, and we always take a moment during the show to hop over to fantasysportsadvice.com and answer some of the questions in the chat. So we're going to do that now a little bit later than normal, but the chat's been flying. So let's go check out Fantasy Sports Advice Network and see what questions we rolled in there this week.
We are here. We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to fantasysportsadvice.com and become a pro member for unlimited access. Again, go to fantasysportsadvice.com today.
Love it. Love Dan Mater in that. All right, so hopping over here, we got the first question from Shady Nasty over here. Flex defense advice. So he's got James Conner right now in his flex with the potential of Breece Hall, ETN, Cooper Kupp, Kendre Miller. One, congratulations. That's a killer people to have on your bench. And then the second question is defense, Miami, Bills, or Vikings. I've already said my pick in this is going to be the Miami Dolphins against a DTR ran offense without any Chig. As you see here, he's already been ruled out, which makes him even less likely to get the ball downfield. So I think the defense is a no-brainer for me. You guys may have a different opinion. Flex. I want to roll Connor, but I may roll Breece this week.
I'm rolling Miami.
Yeah.
Sorry, Miami and Breece for me.
Yeah, it's Miami. It's Miami and Connor for me. I've got Connor at 18. I've got Hall at 21. So I'm going to stick with my rankings there because I'm not crazy about either one of them right now.
I'm gonna split the vote. I'm going with Evan on this one. I like you killed the defense on that, and then I don't know. I like a not banged up Breece Hall in this matchup.
That's the same reasoning. Yeah,
I like him. I just don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to call plays for him or not.
Aaron Rodgers doesn't like people. Just Devontae Adams.
I know.
Yeah, just
like anybody else on that team, and he runs it, and that sucks.
All right, we got pop over. We got a question from GB Chris 21. He says, so I'm in the championship. T. Higgins, Devontae Adams are both questionable. If they both play, they're no-brainer starts, even with lingering injuries. I don't have any decent alternatives, probably overthinking it. My bench consists of Rico Dowdle and Coker. I have McMillan in the flex because Dowdle almost cost me the semifinals. I feel like my lineup is now my best options. Would love opinions. So I guess the question is really, are you starting Rico or Jalen Coker over McMillan? I don't know how you go away from Higgins or Devontae Adams if they're both healthy. So with McMillan, are you starting Rico or Coker over either of those?
No.
Play who you got unless you see an injury change. Yeah. Play who you got.
Yeah. I am in the same boat as that. So, guys, if you have questions and we haven't hit them, hit the like button. But go over to fantasysportsadvice.com and sign up. It is free to sign up and you drop your questions in there. We're going to go ahead and keep going through the chat. We got Daniel Caps coming in. Appreciate you tuning in this week. First time I've seen you here, and I do this show every week, but glad you're here with us. I need one tight end, one flex. Bowers, McBride, McLaurin. For me, this is simple. But I may not be on the same boat, so I'm going to hold for a second, and I'm going to let these guys.
Don't be a chicken.
Oh no, I'm not checking. I tight end. I want Bowers. I want Bowers as the lead receiver in that offense. Consistency. Obviously, McBride has been a consistent letdown. He can't get into the freaking end zone.
Not his fault.
I know it's not his fault. I know it's not his fault. That's the dynamic of the game, right? He is a product of where he is, and unfortunately, like in where they're at, especially with Aiden O'Connell back playing, I want Bowers. And then there's no way I am benching McLaurin. McLaurin has been lights out. McLaurin was lights out last week, and I said it here on the show when everybody was talking about how Philly only allowed him to go for one reception for 10 yards in the first time they met. And I told him Jalen Hurts was hurt that game. They weren't that successful. He was going to get into the end zone. And what happened? He got into the end zone. He was successful. We saw it. We have a good week, and we've had a good week every single week except for that initial week against Philly. I'm not taking McLaurin out of my lineup no matter what.
It's nice because normally I would say you never flex a tight end. You have literally the only combination of tight ends this season I would even consider playing both of them in. But Bowers is my tight end 1 this week. McBride is my tight end 2. So Bowers is 1 for sure. McLaurin is a top 7 wide receiver pick for me this week. I don't care how highly ranked you have your tight end. You cannot play a tight end over a top 7 wide receiver in your flex and feel good about it. You're going to feel much worse if you play 2 tight ends and then, McLaurin
goes for 2 touchdowns and 80 yards.
Play Bowers, play McLaurin, let the chips fall.
Evan, you look like you're breathing heavy over there. You got something you want to say?
No, I take my L's too. I just want to say, play that tape. I was all about Jaden Daniels and McLaurin last week on the show. I just wanted to add that in. I lose plenty. We
were together on it.
I'm gonna take my wins. I talked about Jaden Daniels' injury. I talked about McLaurin being involved. It worked. That was one that hit. You could probably find a few L's if you watch the tape, but just watch that part.
Can we
I don't know how.
I love it, bro. I love it.
I don't know how you can sit Trey McBride, but this might be the only.
Yes.
I don't want to go too deep. I just like Bowers at 1 and 2, right? And you just can't sit McLaurin. Like, it's crazy. Like, Bowers and McBride might outscore McLaurin. I could see that happening, but I'm playing McLaurin, and Bowers is a dozen targets. I think McBride gets fed this week after the abysmal performance last week due to Kyler, like I mentioned, but he just has to be the odd man out here, as crazy as it is. I mean,
look, I just want to ask
Daniel McBride. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say, Daniel Cav, jump in the chat, dude. Are you in like an 8-man league, or does everyone else suck? Like, dude,
he was the only person who didn't have to worry about tight end.
Yeah, you're flexing a top 6 receiver and the best tight ends in the game right now. What's the rest of the lineup, or does the league suck?
How did the draft go? Where did you take these guys? All that.
I'm so jealous.
Fairburn let him down with 0 points, which I agree is unreal. By the way, he said he just subscribed. First show. Thanks for answering the questions. Thank you for subscribing. We appreciate you. But, he said it's a 10-man league, and he's done a great job of putting a roster together to have those options.
Still playing.
So kudos to that. And, it's probably a standard 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, tight end, and a flex, like a singular flex, which is why this is a question. If it's a dual flex, they're probably rolling back one of those tight ends and McLaurin. But either way, great matchup. Great, it's going to be a good game. And I think Bowers or McBride, you can't go wrong. I just want the high upside of Bowers and the potential to get in the end zone. And McLaurin could easily have 2 touchdowns. Paul jumping in. Are Devonta Smith and Dobbins a safe start? So that is like a catch. I don't know that you can say the word Dobbins and safe start in any scenario, in any situation at any time, because fortunately Dobbins is an electric player. It doesn't matter where he goes, where he plays. He averages over 4 yards a carry, and he is an electric running back. The issue comes any given Sunday also, he can go out after 3 snaps with a re-injury of his knee. He's injured. We've seen it. We've experienced it. We've followed the hype train of the comeback only to be, for it to be dismantled in 5 to 6 games. So I don't think there's a safe start. I also don't think it's a safe start with Devonta if you got Kenny Pickett at the helm, or I don't know if they've announced for sure if Pickett is a go. I know that it was a consideration, but especially if in a Tanner McKee or Kenny Pickett driven offense. But as far as like if I was going to go with a safe start or somebody that I thought could get touches, I'm probably leaning Devonta, and it hurts to say that.
No, he's probably safer. My thing is when you looked at those guys, so we had AJ Brown earlier in the show and then Devonta Smith, and they both had pretty good weeks, but you have to go and look and see that probably wasn't Pickett. Like that was Jalen before he got hurt. So people are going to be like, Pickett might be okay. And he wasn't. He was pretty bad. Let's see. He played 84% of the snaps and 11 points with those guys playing. So, the question was, are they safe? I don't think so. You might have to play them, but not safe.
Yeah, not safe at all, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, are there other options you can play? Or are you just forced to play them? I mean, I do wonder that as well, like Zach's saying. But yeah, you guys nailed it there. Not safe at all.
He did say, remember in the draft, Bowers and McLaurin were not high round picks, and McLaurin especially was a later round slip. Like he fell into rounds 8, 7 to 9 in most drafts, which was an extreme value for a top 10 wide receiver on the season. And I was on it, and I say this begrudgingly. Okay, I am a Arkansas Razorbacks fan, and I have watched years. I remember back when we were beating LSU and they put Jaden Daniels in at halftime because the quarterback got injured and they came back and won. And just being like, this guy is the guy, right? Like this guy is going to be a killer quarterback. And he figures out a way to win. He figures out a way to put it together. I would say he's a more complete quarterback and better passer than Jalen Hurts. And that's my opinion, but I'm on it. And so when that's where he went, I felt like McLaurin was a solid late round grab when you needed a big wide receiver. Same thing with like Mike Evans, who typically went a little later, like 6 to 8 rounds. But great pick. I'm super high on Jaden in Dynasty. I like McLaurin over the next couple of years. It's going to be a good pair. I definitely don't see McLaurin being drafted in the 8th round next year.
No.
Let's see. Paul, I could start Pittman, Waddle, Spears, Watson, Patrick Taylor, Ertz over the 2 I mentioned.
Oh, you could not.
The 2 mentioned earlier were Devonta Smith or Dobbins.
Well, Spears, yeah.
As we said, maybe Spears.
Yeah.
The rest of them are scarier too.
Yep. Watson may not even. Watson is still hurt. He may not play or play much. Taylor is probably sitting behind Garendo if Garendo's healthy. Ertz is a tight end, so no.
Pittman with Joe Flacco?
If. We're gonna pop back over to the Fantasy Sports Advice Network. We got a question coming in from Footballer, and you can already see how the poll is lining up. So the question is, do we line up with the poll? But who do I play? Jared Goff, Kyler Murray, or Sam Darnold? And right there, the first comment, Corey's saying, I hate this, but as much as Kyler makes sense because of the matchup, I lean Goff. I'm kind of in the same boat. I don't know how you shy away from Goff. He's throwing touchdowns every week. Maybe if it's a 4-point touchdown league or something, but even then, I don't know how I'm getting away from
against the San Francisco 49ers defense, and Sam Darnold is playing a shootout against Green Bay with a banged up secondary.
I will tell you that Green Bay Vikings game will not be won on the ground. That is going to be a game won through the air. So I like the receivers in that game. I think Josh Jacobs even takes a little bit of a hit this week. Aaron Jones for sure takes a hit. Last time that they played, he struggled big time. Josh Jacobs, the thing that gives me hope for him is he's good at catching the ball out of the backfield, which could be a benefit for them. But it's going to be a tough game in the run game. I think they hit the air a lot in that game. So I do like Sam Darnold as an option. It just, can you go away from MVP candidate Jared Goff?
Does the game, this is one of the few Detroit games outside,
Yes.
I mean, it's not just the narrative that like Goff is bad outdoors. It's more so that this Lions team as a whole does not produce over the last few years outside the way they do as a team indoors. It's a whole. I'm not, miss me with that whole narrative of Goff. They just don't put up the same type of numbers, and they've only had a few games on the road or outside this year. So I'm just throwing that in there as devil's advocate. I like Darnold over Kyler actually already. And with that shootout, like you talked about, I'm not opposed to playing Darnold here, if you're leery a little bit, but just posing that added question to you guys about the elements there.
I have Darnold one spot over Goff this week, as does ECR. But I think a big part of it is not only do I think it's going to be a shootout, but like you said, it's indoors. It's going to be safe. We don't know what the hell the weather is going to be like over in San Francisco, but it's also the San Francisco defense is tough against opposing fantasy quarterbacks. I love me some Goff, but it's the plays Darnold for me this week.
Some Niner revenge, some Niner, not revenge.
Right? Like, yeah, you got
spoiling. Yeah, the Niners are going to be looking to spoil. Yeah, and these two teams are like Darnold and Goff are both playing for number 1 seed, right? Like they
right.
want to get that 14-2 and get to the first round bye. So like, yeah, I just think the game script and the things around it favor Darnold more than Goff here.
Yeah, I like that.
I like the call. I do like the call. I do feel like Green Bay can. I feel like I see probably 2 picks coming in that game on Sam Darnold. Just me. Green Bay has been. Say what you want. They had how many last week? Now, granted,
they're ball
it's the Saints.
Yeah,
but here's the thing. Here's the thing, Zach. Jared Goff has had in the last 4 games against Chicago a good pass defense, 220 yards, 2 touchdowns. Against Green Bay, 283 yards, 3 touchdowns. Against Buffalo, who has a much better secondary than they have a run game, 494 yards and 5 touchdowns. Against Chicago again last week at Chicago in the elements, 336 yards and 3 touchdowns. Goff is playing the best football of his life right now. And I don't know that I can get away from it, even against the San Francisco team that, like they're going to – and the other side is like even in the run game, like Goff can easily have a dump off to Jahmyr Gibbs that goes for 40 yards to the house, and that's a passing touchdown. And so, like, with that kind of stat line, I can't get – I love Darnold. Darnold's been great all season. But I don't know that I can get away from Goff. But I will say this. I do believe that the scores between the two of them come out similar.
Darnold threw 3 touchdowns in week 4 in 1/2 against Green Bay. So
also, I want to add this about Green Bay just to show that they played the Bears, the 49ers without Purdy, Tua in the freezing cold, which every Dolphin team cannot play in, got roasted by the Lions, a Seattle offense that's been abysmal, and then Spencer Rattler. So as much as I like Green Bay, they're red hot. Their defense is still good. They're a great team that can make a run. I think they are a decent contender, probably a good odds if you like to play a future outside of the favorites. But I'm just throwing that out there. That's a list of pretty mediocre offenses compared to this Minnesota team. And we've been waiting for the Darnold shoe to drop. It really hasn't dropped.
It's and I would say the same conversation. Like we keep waiting for Goff to drop, and it's not happening.
Do we though? Do we?
I don't think we're waiting, dude.
Yes, everybody like Goff was like okay. There's a whole narrative around Goff. Like Goff was not expected. If you expected Goff when he was traded to Detroit, if you expected to see the Goff that we're seeing right now when he was traded to Detroit for Matt Stafford, it is absolute crazy.
Nobody expected that, but that's 5 years ago by now, dude.
Yeah, Goff this year. No one's that surprised at what Goff's doing. This team was
I'm surprised at Goff and Darnold this year.
Darnold. Yes. Minnesota had a win total of 6.5 on the books. Detroit was a play away from being in the Super Bowl with weapons galore.
Neck and neck.
Yeah, not surprised by Goff at all. The Lions are doing what they're supposed to be doing from last year. Darnold is absolutely like way, way overperformed relative to what they thought. They thought it was going to be JJ. It's
and 5 wins.
It's been a crazy year.
I will say this. And this is a point, I guess, for to be considered. The way the Lions approached playing football, which is wild, the way they approached playing changed significantly when they lost Montgomery. After Montgomery went out, it went from 200 and something yards for Goff a week to 300 plus both weeks since Montgomery went out. And I think that's because also we see a lot of passes out of the backfield to Gibbs. So in a late run, I like Goff. I like Darnold this week too. Both are great choices. Go with the three other guys on here that are screaming Darnold. I can live on my island. It's okay. You know,
I'm not arguing too hard. I mean, like I said, I've got Darnold at 7, Goff at 8. They're both about to move up one because Jalen Hurts is out of here. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you're talking about 2 top 7 plays this week. So yeah, I mean, I'm not a bad play. I'm not shooting you down for the Goff thing. I'm just saying I got Darnold ranked higher, and I see why.
Yeah, hey, real quick. I just want to say on these teams, if both those teams win this week, we're going to see a 14-win team be a 5 seed in the playoffs.
Yep. Isn't that crazy?
And a possible 13-win team be a 6 seed. Yeah. Yeah.
Wild.
What? So we'll wrap it up here. I think Benjamin coming in. I have Chuba and Connor. Don't know what to do because of the injuries and different time slots. What do you think I should do? I want Chuba here if I have to make the decision early because of the potential that the Arizona Cardinals are playing for nothing except to spoil somebody else's season. And, I guess Chuba's not really playing for anything either, except for I think they're really trying to figure out what they have on offense. Yeah. And so they're trying to win as well. I like Chuba with the question mark on Connor. If there wasn't the question mark on Connor, I would go Connor. But Chuba's
a top 10 play for me this week. Assuming Connor plays, Chuba's still a top 10 play from this week. It's Chuba, and that takes your question out for timing wise. Schedule this week sucks. We feel your pain, dude.
Chuba.
The schedule is tough this week, but we're here. It's championship week, and we wouldn't have it any other way, right? It's got to be difficult. If it was going to be easy, it wouldn't be the ship. For me in most leagues, I'm going to roll with Connor because he won me ships last year with his playoff run. But Chuba's been great all season, so I'm going to roll with Chuba in this question. But I like Connor too. Thank you guys, everybody, for tuning in. This show was absolutely electric. You guys kept the questions coming. Appreciate you. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. We want to see you here. We are here every Friday at 9:00 Central from the forum. We have a different slate of guests sometimes, and then these guys come through every night. I think you've been with me the last 3 weeks. I've loved it, man. You always bring in the heat. Chase, you've been with me the last 2 weeks, and it wouldn't be a show without those rankings. And Zach, glad to have you, bud.
Like 33 years. Okay, guys, we're just putting it out there. It's fine.
Love you, bro.
I know you rushed home from work just to make it to this show. You put the kids to bed in a hurry to make it for this show, and
doing business.
I've loved. Make sure you check out Zach's show on the network, the Fantasy Lounge. Chase also a show on the network, repping that jersey, Operation Domination, helping you win championships. And Evan, tell them where they can find your content.
Yeah, man, on Twitter, @SoCalBallNerd. You can catch me on there. And the sports affiliation on YouTube. Head over there, hit a like and subscribe if you will, man. You can catch myself and @IDP Iggy. Every Thursday, 4:00 Eastern, Sup Home Slice based around pizza, fantasy, and betting. Everybody loves pizza and sports, right? So cool little show we do every week. We'll be kind of transferring over out of football season into a little more basketball. But yeah, man.
I will tell you, Evan, once football season ends, my attention shifts to the NBA sports book. And, we went on a run last season. I'm looking for a good run this season.
We will again. It's a quick turn, baby. Sharp turn. As soon as it ends, it is full throttle NBA. Right now, it's kind of brewing back there, but.
Well, again, thanks for tuning in. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe. Go to Fantasy Sports Advice Network and sign up today. It's a blast, and we will see you next week, 9:00 Central Time from the forum. Peace, and have a happy new year.
We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to FantasySportsAdvice.com and become a pro member for unlimited access. Again, go to Fantasy Sports